Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel once again. So on Instagram, I had asked what kind of content you wanted to see from me because of TikTok no longer being available. And one of the comments said, anything where we get to know more about you as an artist. So I thought it would be a perfect entryway into my artistry. This video is just going to be a big ol' recap. I have written so many artist statements from like high school to now, and even today I'm still progressively learning more and more about myself and my interests, and redirected so much because I have seen so much things that I just don't resonate with anymore. So there's gonna be a lot of that. It's gonna be all over the place, so stay tuned. I literally made a whole doc because I just don't know how to organize my thoughts, and the more that I talk, you're gonna also realize that my words just get jumbled because I just think so fast and I talk very slow.
And like all teenage girls, they talk, but as scholars of the language note, in a most peculiar way.
Like tubular. Well, it's like a totally great day. It's like totally awesome. Gag me with a spoon.
I wanted to start off by talking about my childhood. So when I was very small, me and my siblings were always really bored and we wouldn't know what to do with ourselves, and my parents and my siblings kind of just decided to do these like art contests that we would turn in like every week. We did that a few times. I remember we had a drawing contest for like our dogs, and that one was like my favorite ever. I wish I still had my drawing or someone's drawing of them. But I have a few drawings that I absolutely love and hold dear to my heart. So I have some from my dad. I always draw cartoons, so we have a Bugs Bunny, which I love so much, and they would write little notes next to them. And I also have some from my mom. So my mom went to jail for a bit, and it was relatively short. It was like 2 months, but it felt like the end of the world for me because I was so small and I just missed her so much. So she would send over some drawings and letters, and I love them so much. I'm never ever ever letting them go. In high school, I took art classes. I've always been into art, but for my sophomore year, I want to say, I went into my first art drawing class, and then soon after that they just started putting me in AP, which is, if you don't know, advanced placement, my junior and my senior year. I went to Bloomington High School in SoCal, and it was such an amazing experience at that school because our art class was gigantic. The whole classroom, and then it was like a classroom in the back. Those were the AP students. We had a separate room, and it was like a library. Like, we had a bunch of books in there. We had a paper room in the back. We had a projector room. We had, what else did we have? I think that might be it. But it was just gigantic, and it was like paradise to me. I love that class so much. But fast forward, I took my AP test. I passed with like a 4. It was like a 4 out of 5, which was so cool to me because it was like a state test, if you will. But that acknowledgement, it made me so happy just because I had never been good at literally anything. Like, I wanted to do sports so bad, so that pass for me was just everything, and I clung on to it. Then I went to college. I went to UCR, which is UC Riverside, and I graduated with a degree in fine art. During those years, which I took 3 years to graduate, so I took sculpture, film, photography, painting. I also took some other classes that really sparked my interest. Like, I took ballet, which was really, really nice and beautiful because I got to even film that dance class. Also took entomology, which is a bug class, and I learned so much about bugs. It's actually so funny now that I have like this really big interest in bugs, because when I took the class, I was actually very nervous because we also had, apart from the lecture, we also had a separate class which was a little bit more intimate, where we would also have the chance to look at bugs more closely. Like we would actually have tanks there and be able to like hold them and study them a bit more closely. So that was really fun, but it was also really disgusting. I want to talk a little bit about who impacted me. Some more obvious ones, which I have plenty of books on, and that's Salvador Dali. I absolutely love Dali. I actually got to see his work in Europe, which I went in 2023.
It must be closer to the Eiffel. Happy late birthday.
Thank you.
I never thought I would see so much Dali paintings, but I also went to another Picasso museum, National Museum of Picasso in Paris, and that one was really sickening. I think it was like 3 stories tall, and it was just huge, a huge collection. It had some of his drawings, his sketchbooks, his paintings, his massive paintings. Actually, they were huge. Another one of my favorites is Frida Kahlo. So I saw so much of her in Mexico City. Obviously, like, she's notorious around those parts. There's literally merch of her in every single street that you turn. But I did go to her Casa Azul in Coyoacán and her Casa Studio. So she actually shared her Casa Studio with Diego Rivera. If you have seen the movie Frida, then you probably will recognize it. But unfortunately, I think that was the part where she caught her man, Diego Rivera, cheating with her sister. Disgusting. If you remember that scene, then that's exactly where I was at, and it was really cool that Casa Studio was empty. It didn't have any paintings or anything. It was just to see their workspace. They also had the notorious bathtub where she has like her feet sticking out, and really tracked down like their lives through the studios. And then I went to the Museo in Anahuacalli, and this was Diego Rivera's. The building is designed to resemble Teotihuacan and its architecture. It held Diego Rivera's own collection of pre-Hispanic artworks and artesian works, which are really cool. Some come from the Olmec, the Zapotec, and the Teotihuacan. I can never say that word when I say it too fast. There were plenty of murals there as well, which are really cool. They were unfinished, but they did have the renderings of what they were supposed to be. I have this really cute one that is my favorite. I still have it like ingrained into my brain. It's this little duck, and he has like a spout mouth. So good. Some other artists that I like are Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon is so amazing. If you haven't seen his work, you probably have seen a homage to him through David Lynch's work. David Lynch, I think that's probably his favorite artist. If it's not, then I would be very shocked, but he does reference him a lot in his work. I appreciate David Lynch so much because usually directors will reference other directors, but David Lynch, probably because he's a painter as well, is referencing a fine artist. If you haven't seen David Lynch's work, his is amazing. It's so satirical.
Today I'm going to be working with wood, resin, electricity, and for sure, coffee.
Vibrant, even though it's so dark in color, it's so vibrant in like the way that the reds are so bright. These are very hard to work with. If you've ever painted with red, you would know what I mean, but it's very hard to change the tone without it turning into like literally black. Just easily turn purple if you add just a smidge of blue to it. It's very hard to work with. Yoko Ono is a very great artist as well. She has some poems that I like. I believe it's called Grapefruit. I remember in the final days of me going to UCR, I just was like, I'm gonna use all my leftover money on my, we used to have like a library card, the rest of my money on that card just to print out the entire Grapefruit, and I don't regret it. I literally punched holes into it. I still have it. But she also has this cut piece that never left my mind. I saw this piece in one of my film classes and I thought it was so good. It was a performance piece where she sat on a stage. She invited people to come up with scissors and cut a piece of her clothing off. A lot of the women were just kind of, you know, taking a piece off, just doing what they're told, but in a very wholesome way, I guess you can say. And I think a lot of the men's were just going to like very sexual, or I mean, I don't think I can say that. I actually don't think I can say that. So the guys were just crossing boundaries a little too much. Again, that was her only instruction, so it was just to cut a piece, but a lot of the men were crossing a line and probably just like cutting off her shirt or cutting off the straps of her bra, or like just very much that. Basically, men ruin everything. And speaking about men ruining everything, I also really love an artist called Ana Mendieta, and unfortunately, allegedly, she was pushed off her balcony by her husband. 34 floors, so she did pass after she was pushed, allegedly. Performance artist, I always get confused because it's documented, so I'm like, was it video or was it live? And it was just documented. Anyways, I think she was a performance artist, but she did do this one video where she's like smushing her face on a glass. It's just a standard camera set up and she's just squishing her face all over it. It's not beautiful at all, which I love when art is not beautiful. Like, it's very much just wanting to be art. And so I know I did a homage to Ana Mendieta, and I had her do the same thing. I kind of just instructed her what to do and then let her do her thing. Another artist that I saw make a homage to her, another really great artist, I keep saying that, but they're just my favorites, is Pipilotti Rist. So Pipilotti Rist is a Swedish artist, and she does a lot of video. I actually went to one of her galleries in Mocha, had a whole like dollhouse setup. If you know, I love dollhouses. I have my own. I love it so much. I don't really reach for it for what I intended to. I wanted to make a short film with my dollhouse and use like clay or like a stop motion film, which I should probably still do, right? Okay, well, I don't know. I just think it's really amazing because when I went to that exhibit, I was like, what? She likes dollhouses too? Like, real, recognize real, because that was so eye-opening to me. And like her love for colors and nature is just so beautiful. I have this really sick book from her, actually. You hover your phone over the book, it will turn into a video through an app. Very underrated artist, Pipilotti Rist. But if you have seen Beyonce's Lemonade album, she made a video to it, which is an homage to Pipilotti Rist, that's insane. You probably would have never guessed if you don't know the reference. So if you know, you know, but I'm telling you.
I don't make any separation between our body and nature. We are an organic structure, chaotic. We are not a Porsche, we are really a plant with no roots, a plant that can walk. The body is all we have. And it's a camera, it's a recording system,
I was wasted. Like, I could not tell if the ceiling was above me or below me, whatever, but I was just watching the movie. And the whole movie was a POV, and say, I wish one day I can do a movie with my present state of mind that is seen from the point of view, or the mental point of view of the character.
Let me know if there's other really great artists that you would want me to know about, if these kind of align with your interests as well. I started with pastels, as I said earlier, then charcoal. I tried acrylics, not my thing. It just dries way too quickly. I remember once when I was in college, I actually took a painting class. The professor saw me painting and she was like, you know what, you paint more like an oil painter. And she gave me some paints and I was like, I don't know how to use this. Literally everything was just turning brown because I had no idea what turpentine was, so I would just kind of swish my paintbrush inside water and then go to the next color and it would just all turn brown. So she really taught me a lot, and she definitely is the one that sparked my interest into oil painting because it was so intimidating to me. But when she told me how to use them, I was like, never again am I touching acrylics. And then I did some of the college stuff, so that was painting, ceramics, drawing, film. Love, love, love film. And then today I'm doing a lot of makeup, and even though it's not necessarily a fine art, I still would say that it's very much art rather than just like the normal glam, you know? And I'm also trying my hand at airbrush. I did my first painting with it officially for my brother. I did his Christmas present. It was a painting of Carrie, which turned out really, really great in my opinion. But I do want to delve into a little bit more of like as an artist, not just trying to replicate a film still. So it was an amazing Christmas present. I did really like the practice in it. The artist statement that I found lately, I don't even know if this is something that I still coincide with. I feel like I'm always changing, but this is one that I found. It dates back to the beginning of 2024. I always say nature is what inspires me. I say that because it blows my mind how things are fabricated so perfectly, naturally, like how the moon affects the tides, insects, ritualistic behaviors, or the patterns and color schemes in nature that seem so cohesive. I've always been a fan of color stories, especially because I'm first and foremost an oil painter. My toy makeup series was created because I adored all of the whimsical color palettes of older vintage toys. A snippet of my latest artist statement, I think I was talking more so about makeup. When I was using TikTok, you guys probably already know, I had a toy makeup series and I also had a flowers and bugs makeup series, which I love so much. As a fine artist, I still think that I'm into flowers and bugs and all that because I do have a painting of them. But I would say that I'm focused on a lot of my childhood. It's very fun because I do like to paint very cutesy things, but it's also way deeper than that. Art is very subjective, so I don't think that it's necessarily slander what I'm gonna say. I think that everyone should be open to their opinions and critiques. This is something that I've kind of dealt with because I'm an artist. I am consuming this type of art and I'm also making this type of art. So I do really like painting very cutesy things. They're very cute. When I see someone painting Tweety, I'm like, oh my god, that's so cute. I love it. I also just like am more likely to consume it. Like I will literally buy a print if it's literally Tweety or Betty Boop or Taz, you know, all of these like really common ones. I'm trying to kind of finding a balance of what I want to put out into the world, if that makes absolutely any sense. New year, I can't wait to see what I'm going to be making, what I'm going to be doing, who I'm going to be working with, collabing with. I'm just so excited. Thank you so much for watching and learning a little bit about me. Bye!